The inferior mesenteric artery, this is the third unpaired artery that's coming off the aorta, the unpaired visceral branch that's coming from the aorta, comes away at about L3, inferior mesenteric artery, comes away at L3, and it supplies the distal third of the transverse colon, the distal third of the transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and parts of the rectum. It does this by the left colic, which we can see passing towards the left, towards the descending colon. It also gives rise to a series, maybe 3-4 sigmoidal arteries, which go to supply the sigmoidal colon. And then it gives rise to a superior rectal artery. And this will be the one that's most continuous with the inferior mesenteric artery. As the inferior mesenteric artery comes down, the initial left artery it gives off will be the left colic. The subsequent left arteries will be the sigmoidal artery, and the remaining one will be your superior rectal, which we can see here. These will be your sigmoidal, and then we've got your left colic. And what we can see is the left colic, and also to some extent the sigmoidal artery, are running towards the colon, where they meet essentially what is this quite large arcade, similar to what we had with the small intestine. And that arcade is being fed into via left colic and the middle colic coming from the superior mesenteric artery. So this stretch here is known as the marginal artery, a stretch of arterial blood that's running parallel along the inside of the colon. And that helps to supply this transitional area between the midgut and the hindgut. Just before the bifurcation of the aorta into common iliacs, just superior to that, you have L3, where the inferior mesenteric artery is occurring. And at this location, it's quite common for atherosclerotic plaques to occur. And this can actually occlude the opening for the inferior mesenteric artery. The wall can be dissected. And this means that the inferior mesenteric artery can become occluded, and the hindgut would have a reduction in blood supply. But because of this marginal artery, and we have inputs from the superior mesenteric artery, it's actually possible for the blood to be diverted down in this direction towards the hindgut, which can then receive blood from the superior mesenteric artery. So this transition is really important. And this is just what we're focusing on towards the end. These two important transitions. Transitions between the foregut and the midgut, transitions between the midgut and the hindgut. And we can see that these can happen in a number of places: the superior and inferior pancreatico-duodenal arteries, and the middle colic and left colic forming the marginal artery. And these are really, really quite important in maintaining a sufficient blood supply to the GI tract.